Howdy, howdy, howdy. Carolyn Carpenter here. I have something I'm going to share later instead of this. Maybe I'll stop doing that. I don't know. Is it goofy? It's kind of goofy. So, welcome, Carolyn J. Carpenter, Hollywood Gatekeepers. It is we should call it something clever. Douglas is here. Hey, Doug. We're the dynamic duo for Hollywood Gatekeepers here today just to answer a question because we have so many people asking questions. I picked two people, but kind of the same question. So I've been going through all of your questions that you're putting into as people join the private Facebook group, which if you haven't done that, it's time to do that. So if you join the private Facebook group, you have an opportunity to leave a question there. Or, hey, Cindy, Cindy's a screen reader. We talk about that later. Or if you sign up for the mailing list, which you can do from this page on the Learn More button at the top of the page. So you can sign up both places. And it's like the Brady Bunch, totally dating myself for that reference. So, okay, anyway. Yeah, so if you sign up for the mailing list or if you sign into the Facebook group, you can leave a question. So I'm going to answer a question today. One of the questions I answer every day is this a real thing? We get that a lot. Mm-hmm. Yes. I need to speak up. I'm learning a lot about doing these videos too. Just FYI. So today, yeah, we'll just go. I was deciding if I was going to talk about the webinar. So no, we'll just move forward to the questions. So basically I have, and I'm sorry, I'm going to probably butcher how you say this name. Sakirin, maybe? Sakirin? I'm not sure where the emphasis on the right syllable is. So, and then Harry. Harry wants to know, what's it like to work as a reader? Good question, Harry. And it's S-A-I, Sakirin, I think, Sakirin. She, or I'm pretty sure it's a she, asks, and people ask us a lot, can we suggest improvements when you're a reader? So I just thought, you know what? Here's how it works. We'll just do a quick little overview about what it is to be a reader, what it's like. So basically, there's lots of different ways that you can be a reader. We are going to specifically talk today about being a reader for Hollywood production companies. I think that's kind of why people are interested. There's a whole nother thing called a writer's consultant, where you particularly work with writers. My favorite. So I do that now. I did reading for production companies for a very long time, and now I work not solely, but primarily with writers. I love writers. They're an interesting bunch. So I believe that all readers, Doug believes that all readers are writers. If you are a reader, you need to be able to write. So what happens is production companies, they get a lot of submissions, right? They're all looking for what movie should we do next? The Oscars just happened, and now it's like, oh, this one won, and so why, and this was sure popular, and they all kind of looking at what the trends are, and they're always kind of trying to figure out what project should we do next. They get a slew, hundreds, if not thousands of submissions for scripts. Producers who run these studios or who work in production companies or who own their own production company, development team. So you have a development team, which is producer, development executives. There's a whole group, story editors and readers. There's a whole group of people that work solely on getting that script that they want to do next. That's before they bring on the actor or set designers or any of that. This is just the script process called development. So the producers, they need all these scripts coming in, right? Well, there's two versions of ways you can submit scripts, solicited or unsolicited. Unsolicited means the writer does not have someone representing them like an agent. And most production companies, for the most part, will not take unsolicited material. It needs to be represented by an agent. So before it even gets to the production company, you have a whole nother level of people that have readers that read scripts, because they're getting thousands of submissions, agents, lawyers, and managers, so that they can submit those scripts to producers. So all of those people need people to help them, because one person can't go through this volume of material. So scripts are basically 1 page per minute. So they run about 90 to 120 pages a script. So, or more if it's way too long. Or less if it's way too short. And no, you can't adjust your fonts, you can't adjust your margins. That doesn't work. That's another topic. Anyway, so I can pick up a script, hold it in my hand, and tell you if it's formatted right. Anyway, so this is what happens. It's like anything, if you're driving, you don't really think about all the moving parts anymore, Anyway, so there's so much work, and it's, you're reading 90 to 120 pages pretty much all the time, that one person can't go through everything. And a producer is not only finding the script, but they're finding all the people to get involved. They're raising the money and they're figuring out how to, they're going to get this project made. Actually, agents, managers, lawyers often are involved in that process as well. Producing, that's a whole nother topic. I'm talkative today. So basically, the producers need some help. So what they do is they have a reader come in. The reader reads the scripts and then writes reads the scripts. I said right. The reader reads the scripts. It sounds weird. And then they write what's called a coverage, or it's kind of like a book report. It's about anywhere from a page to 10 pages, depending on the production company. They all kind of have their own formats. There is a basic format. When you register for the webinar, you get a sample so you can kind of see what we're talking about. So basically, you've got this little sheet. It has a little score thing on it, and you score different areas, dialogue, story, that kind of thing. And then you write a summary of what the script is about. And you summarize for the producer, this is what this story is, like, this is what happens. And then you write comments, all the things that were great about it, all the things that weren't so great about it or need improvement. So, and then the producer can look at that coverage, and they don't have to spend the time to read the entire script. They can look at the coverage and they can kind of get a gist of whether or not they want to do this movie. You also do, it varies from company to company, but in general, it's pass, recommend, or consider. So most scripts fall in the consider category. As much as people think that it's pass, people want something good. We're not trying to say no, no, no. It is a Hollywood gatekeeper. We are the first line of defense, but we are not trying to keep you out. We want good scripts. That's definitely a thing. We want the good ones. So the producer's looking for good coverage. They want coverage where they go, oh, this project is cool. And then they'll read the script. Or often, sometimes they won't even read the script yet. They'll meet with a writer, kind of see, how the relationship is, because you will need to be working with this writer for a while. So if the writer comes in the room and it's just, not nice or whatever, then that could kill it right there. So then you kind of get what they call a generals at interview. You get generals where you come in and you kind of meet each other. So that's kind of the process how it goes. Now, from the reader's perspective, you will do that coverage and you give it to the producer. Not usually, but most of the time. So I crack myself up sitting in my studio all alone. But Doug's here, right? It's interesting getting used to this format. But anyway, so rewind. So the reader, often you will write the coverage, you will give it back, and then often, but not always, I keep thinking of percentage, I don't know, half the time, the agent or manager will get the coverage back, and then they'll talk to the writer. Sometimes your coverage will make it back to the writer, sometimes it won't. Some studios are very protective of their coverage, some studios don't care. Like, it's very, from my experience, and all of this, by the way, is from my experience. You could talk to a different reader and they might have a completely different experience. Thank you, Cindy thinks I'm funny. Yay! I think I'm hilarious. So often readers have a wide variety of experience. So my experience has been pretty great. Like, I've had a really fun time. I've had good people. I've never had any harassment, nothing. I've been blessed with really fun, smart, creative people. So that's why we're really excited to share this with people, is that it's been a really good experience for us. So you might, they might take that coverage back to the writer, and if the relationship is good, or maybe it's a writer that they really want because they just wrote an Oscar-winning screenplay or something, then it might come back to you with some improvements. You read it again, you give your notes, it goes back, you read it again, and it can be a cycle. That actually is pretty rare where it becomes a cycle thing. But often you can get the same script more than once in that regard. So that's basically how it works. So I know it's kind of, it's one of those things that nobody talks about. Your name won't be in the credits, sorry. And, no one thanks you at the Oscars for reading their script. However, you do see people thank people for championing, Jordan championing, I can't say that word. We're cheering them on. Jordan last night, he mentioned that about, helping the writer get their voice across. And I think that that's the job as a reader. So we're passionate about teaching people how to do this. This is why we started Hollywood Gatekeepers. We kind of had a moment of seeing a really good coverage and going, wow, this is a good coverage. And you don't see good coverages a lot. And then we were like, we need to teach people how to do this and do it right and do it in a way that champions writers. We're very passionate about that. We're trying to teach people how to do this. I was about to say we don't allow you're grown adults, you can do whatever you want. But we are really trying to encourage people to write coverage that's not snarky or sarcastic or I was so bored or using like, I mean, who are you? You know, you're supposed to be there supporting that writer. You're supposed to be the one that says, you know what, these are really good things about it. These are the things that need improvement. So there's no reason to bag on stuff. There's no reason to be negative about things. It's like, you know what, this person, I mean, they wrote a screenplay. That in itself is huge. So it's like, we want to champion that and be really behind it. So that's why we're really passionate about this. I get excited. We get excited. We do. Doug's not here, but he's here. Or he's... Anywho. So that was a question for today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about all of you writers out there and how being a reader can help you as a writer. And then kind of a little bit, we can give you a little bit of insight as to what happens with your script when you're submitting it and how kind of writers view scripts and how that all works. So that's what we'll talk about. Oh, little flowers and stuff. Although sometimes the mad face goes through. Who's mad? What is that? Is that just a Facebook thing? Okay. So obviously you don't have to be super tech savvy to do this. We just learned, I've learned a lot getting to teach this of how to be tech savvy. But so sign up for the workshops. I put the links below so that you can just jump on. The first one's Wednesday, day after tomorrow. Very exciting. They're all at noon. First one's Wednesday. They are filling up, so definitely get your spot. And when you sign up, you will get a sample template of a coverage so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. And then in the workshop, you also get a cheat sheet when you sign up, so you can like take notes on it. And then in the workshop, we give you a couple of other things. So the workshop, we practiced it yesterday. We're rehearsing. See, we take this seriously. We do. We actually really do. And there's so much good information in there. And I really think, I wish we could do more, but it's just, we don't want to keep you there all day long. So it'll be about an hour and you can ask any questions that you'd like. We typically don't get a lot of questions because we try to answer the question before you ask them, but definitely show up. All of the links below. Those webinars are the same webinars we're doing in multiple times so that people can have an option of different dates. And actually those times we researched what time people like. So that's what that's from. Might seem weird, and we wanted to keep them consistent, so we stuck with noon. So, whew, I'm like a squirrel today. So, I think that's it. So definitely join the Facebook group, join the mailing list. Oh, and look what, yesterday was my birthday. Look what I got. The greatest family ever, right? They're just supporting this whole journey. It's so cheesy and cute and fun. And then, oh, I was going to show you, maybe I'll show you tomorrow, another gift that's really cool. So, yeah. Just for fun. And at the end, we have a Facebook Live group that's, well, I'll talk about that later. Never mind. I was going to say we often do playtime in our Facebook Lives, and it's really fun. But I'm not going to do that. So that was my playtime. So, yes, what Doug says. We're going to do, yes, tomorrow we're going to talk about how screenwriting help writers, and then more coffee. I have not had any coffee today. None. Zero. Not yet. But I will. Coffee mellows me out. I don't know what my problem is, and that's part of the thing too. Sorry if you're going to do this. Yeah, this is it. Okay. I'm going to go before I say something really dumb. All right. So we will see you tomorrow and we will talk about being a writer and what it means to be a writer and a reader. And if you're a reader, you're also a writer. I'm going to keep saying that. Cool. Wednesday at noon. Sign up now. Sign up below. We'll see you then. Bye. Take two.